Hi everyone, and welcome back to another brand new video. For those who are new to the channel, my name is Emily and I am an entry-level graduate cybersecurity analyst. So I have worked in incident response, but I'm leaning more towards penetration testing and cyber threat intelligence. I am here today to bust some cybersecurity myths because there are so many out there, and there have been some that I have personally believed for quite a while, but I'm here to bust some myths. Without further ado, make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, and let's get started with this video. So the first myth is that in cybersecurity you need to know how to code. Now that is an absolute myth. You do not need to learn to code at all. I personally did learn to code because I came from a more web development area. So when I was younger I wanted to be a web developer. However, you do not need to know coding to go into cybersecurity. It can be very beneficial to learn some scripting languages such as Python and Bash, but it's not necessary and you can do your job without learning coding. It's also, coding is a thing that you can learn along the way, and there are so many jobs in cyber but do not require any coding skills. An example was incident response. So I used to be in cyber incident response doing blue team, and I used Splunk, which is a SIEM, and I had no coding at all. I also did things like threat intelligence, so looking at dark web feeds, and that requires no coding experience at all. So you do not need any coding experience for cybersecurity. If you have coding experience, it can be beneficial, but it's not necessary at all. In fact, there are so many roles in cyber that don't require any coding experience. For example, like I said, blue teaming, threat intelligence, dark web monitoring, open source intelligence, even things like SOC analysts, where you are literally just looking at logs, event logs, window event logs. You do not need to know coding, but it is beneficial, so I would recommend you do learn some languages. You don't need to be like fluent in Bash, but it's beneficial to know a few commands just to help you. Now, myth number 2 is very different. So a lot of people think that cybersecurity is just a bunch of people in black hoodies at a computer hacking. Now that is not true at all. It's a complete myth. We're very misconcepted on TV, so when you search up hacking and stuff and cybersecurity on TV, they show us as these hackers in underground basements hacking into big systems, and you do see on the news like incidents of like hacking and like hacker groups, but not all cybersecurity is hacking. So for example, in incident response, in blue teaming, you are defending systems. You do have the red team, which is the more offensive side, where you will be hacking systems, but often it will be legally. So like penetration testing, you'll have an agreement with the company you're penetration testing from, and with blue team as well, you will not be hacking at all. In fact, you'll be like kind of defending. You're almost like the security guard for the cyber network of a company. So no, while I do have quite a few black hoodies, as a penetration tester or aspiring penetration tester, I do not just sit in a dark room in a basement hacking. Cybersecurity is not just hacking. There is so much cybersecurity. There's also governance, risk, compliance, policies. So it isn't just hacking, although hacking can be fun as long as you do it legally. If you do want to learn hacking, I do recommend, though, this is a disclaimer, I do not recommend hacking, but if you do want to learn hacking, do it in a safe environment, such as a learning website, so try Hack Me or Hack the Box, just them type of safe sandboxes. I wouldn't go hacking into like your company's network because that will not end up well. Now, myth number 3 is that you need to have a cybersecurity degree to get into cyber. Now this is a complete myth. I can explain from my personal experience. So I did digital leadership at uni, so I did have some modules in cybersecurity, but the primary base of my degree was kind of marketing and digital transformation. So I pretty much class it as kind of digital transformation as my degree, but we did do modules of cybersecurity, and I did get a job in cybersecurity so easily. In fact, that's probably the thing that got me my job, was my degree. I know people who have come into cybersecurity from nursing, teaching, even like finance. So you do not need a degree for cybersecurity. It is beneficial to kind of expand your learning, but with cybersecurity you learn on the go, and there's so many ways that you can get experience, such as doing home projects, so like building your own SIEM, building your own lab, your like own cybersecurity lab, doing like e-learnings, doing like training websites, so like I mentioned, Try Hack Me, Hack the Box, Over the Wire, and even doing qualifications, so Security Blue Team, the CompTIA Triad. So there are so many ways that you can gain experience, and it's not just for a degree. Myth number 4 is that cybersecurity is very advanced and you need years of experience to actually land a job. Now, I can say from personal experience, this isn't true. I got a graduate job straight from uni. I can assure you that there are so many jobs out there who will take you from a young like intern stage. Even doing internships, a lot of them will kind of keep you, and then if you do well, they'll want you to come back. Another thing I really recommend is joining talent pools and just kind of getting your name out there. When you go to events and things, like I really recommend going to cybersecurity events, so like InfoSec, DEF CON and things, and just network with people, add them on LinkedIn, and then you kind of get your name out there, because one thing you really need in cybersecurity is to stand out, because it is getting so popular, and while it is really fun to be in this industry, it can be very competitive, because so many people want to be able to kind of enter this industry and have that really cool like hacker title. But yeah, so I really recommend networking and just kind of getting your name out. A lot of big consultancy companies such as Bain also offer internships and graduate programs where you can earn and learn. So like an example of this is you might do uni and you might do work, so you might do 2 days at uni and then 3 days at work a week, and you aim to get at the end of 4 years a degree, and then you get a job at the end of it. They're really beneficial because you're earning and you're also learning at the same time. But also a lot of jobs are taking graduates on and they take you to like academies. Quite a few companies I've applied for, I've been looking at academies, so they have their own like little learning centre, because cybersecurity is so broad, and you can say I want to go into cyber, but it's like what type of cyber, because cyber is so wide. It's like saying I want to go into nursing. You know, you have like orthopedics, you have paediatrics, you have phlebotomy, like, you know, it's the same with cybersecurity. If you say I'm going to cyber, it's like, well, what type? Because you've got red teaming, blue teaming, purple teaming, you've got web pen testing, you've got cloud computing, you've got AI driven. There's so many different areas to cyber, so just being very broad is not going to be very good. You need to have a certain niche and aim towards it. Now, myth number 5 is that cybersecurity is just tech. That is not true at all. It is a complete myth. There was a lot of technical side in incident response, so like kind of analysing logs, but there is also a lot of like literacy work, so like writing reports, creating resources for clients, creating reports for like magazines. You do so much in cybersecurity. It's not just all technical. You do need to have a good level of written and spoken English, because if you work in say a consultancy, you'll be speaking to clients, presenting, so you need to be able to be confident in front of a camera, or have a dedication to gain the confidence in front of a camera. Like for me, I hate public speaking, so I would literally hate the fact if I was told to present in front of a client, but it's something you do have to do in cybersecurity, so it's something that I am learning to get over. It's my fear of public speaking, so it's something that's just taking small steps. Again, in cybersecurity, you do have a lot of monitoring, so it's not all technical. You have like OSINT, for example, which is basically just clicking on the internet, going on a deep web. It's nothing really technical. Like for example, with OSINT, you're just basically web crawling. You're using advanced kind of commands to get really deep website data that's quite far away. So like for example, Google Dorking, I might be searching for a specific article, so I'll search for its name, and like if I know the author to actually get it, instead of getting 1,000 results, I might only get 20. So yeah, it's not all technical. You also have report writing, you have validation, like I said, governance, risk and compliance, so like cyber law writing. And cyber as well, you can have cyber law, so if you're interested in law and like you do a law degree, you could go into cyber technically as well. Now, myth is that by just getting qualification, you'll get a job. Now, qualifications are beneficial, but the way to get a job in cybersecurity is just by showing passion. So a lot of companies will be looking for cybersecurity because it's such an emerging topic. And while it's beneficial to have certifications, you need to be able to show passion, because A lot of people just go for cybersecurity because it sounds cool and it's hacking, but in reality you need to be interested in the subject and you need to put in the hours. So for me, I've been doing kind of self-study in my spare time while I'm off work and while I'm out job hunting. So for me, I really recommend just finding your own project as well. So even doing like online trainings, online courses, you can even use YouTube. I think YouTube is one of the best libraries out there because you can get so much online for free. I also recommend just doing your own little projects. So you don't need to build like a cybersecurity lab. You can even just write reports on like Medium or even on LinkedIn. But yeah, you do not need experience to get into cybersecurity. You can literally get in from any level, and certifications do not guarantee you a job. Certifications are just a bit of a boost, but you just need to show passion. In fact, when you go for a job, the thing they'll probably assess you on most is your dedication to cyber, because some people just want it just to have that kind of title, but you need to actually be passionate about cybersecurity. Now, myth number 7 is that we're always at our computer. That is not true at all. I can say from personal experience, we do spend a lot of time on the computer and your eyes can hurt at times, but it isn't just sitting at a computer all day. So for me, when I was at my job and I was doing kind of consultancy, you went to client sites, you go to events, you network, you're not at your computer all the time, you might do public speaking. So yeah, you're not always at the computer, you'll be writing. In fact, one thing I did do for probably the first time in quite a few years was I actually wrote something down by hand. So I was writing like a kind of plan, an incident response plan by hand. Now that was a bit of a shock to the system because at uni I used my computer. At sixth form I used my computer to write my notes, so picking up a pencil after a while was a bit of a shock to the system. But yeah, you're not always on your computer, and I can reassure you that. Myth number 8 is that I can't start cybersecurity at a young age. That is not true at all. Cybersecurity is in more need of younger talent. So a lot of industry people at the moment, like experienced people, so if you're in a job such as your boss, they would have been a career change from maybe something like law, finance, but they wouldn't have started in cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is a very new kind of emerging industry sector. It's only been around probably since the start of the internet, I'd say. So it's not as old as more traditional jobs, but we do need younger talent. So yeah, if you are interested in applying for cybersecurity, go for it. A lot of companies will take on younger talent because they want to nurture it, and at the end of the day, in 50 years time, you might be leaving the company because the more older employees that are just like, you know, your leadership team, they'll be retiring, and so they will need to look eventually for new leaders. So yeah, you are never too young to start a job in cybersecurity. So myth number 9 is that all use tools such as Splunk, Steam, we use Sentinel-1, we might use Mandiant. That's not true at all. While we do use a lot of tools, especially in blue teaming and in red teaming, you might use pen testing tools. So for example, you might use Burp Suite or you might use Wireshark. Cybersecurity isn't just about using tools. It's also a bit of like psychology in a way, because one way to succeed in cybersecurity is think like a hacker. So you need to think about why are attackers using these motives, why are they launching attacks on this certain like kind of industry. And like threat intelligence, for example, you're gathering intelligence about someone. It's just basically doing research about someone in a way. So yeah, it's not all using tools. It is beneficial. You will be using tools like threat intelligence platforms. But at the end of the day, I find cybersecurity is a bit like psychology, because to really understand the hacker, you really need to understand their minds, the way they think, tools they use, what are their incentives. So like financial, are they financially motivated? Are they socially motivated, or are they just script kiddies who just rip ball in their basement wanting to have a bit of fun? In cybersecurity as well, it's really important to know kind of a bit of networking. So like, how do networks operate? What's a LAN? What's a WAN? Even like, what's privilege access management? What's identity access management? Because at the end of the day, things like firewalls as well, they are the prime way that they get attacked, and they are prime defences, and you need to understand how all these kind of defences work. And finally, myth 10 is that cybersecurity is just boring and repetitive. That is not true at all. Every day in cybersecurity is so different. An example of this could be, you could be doing just like kind of policies in the morning, and then a cyber attack breaks out and you'll be asked to respond to it if you're in incident response, or you might be asked to work on a certain project. So yeah, it's very spontaneous, and there are days where you will just be sat at your computer e-learning, but it's not a bad thing because e-learning is obviously important, you're expanding your knowledge, but every day is different. And I kind of like the surprises you get, because some days you could be really busy, some days it could be a bit more chilled, but it's a very rewarding career, and so many places are like crying out for cybersecurity specialists. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please also let me know in the comments what myths have you agreed with, what myths have you heard in cybersecurity. I will be in the comments and I'll answer your myths and what my opinions are. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. Make sure to subscribe to my channel for even more cybersecurity videos. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.